I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today I'm going to be telling you how much money I make from YouTube. Also, how I make money from YouTube. Like, what this whole Board Game Co thing pays me, how it pays me, all of those things. This is a topic I've done before in different ways. Way back when I first went full-time in the board game space, 2022, I want to say, sometime in 2022, I did a full video breaking down all the numbers, where everything comes from. I've also referenced numbers here and there. It's not something I really try to hide. I am a fan of transparency. I do think there are complications about being transparent, and I also feel that, to be very, very clear, like, don't expect content creators to always do this. Some do because they choose to. Others choose not to, and I think that's an incredibly reasonable choice. It is not your business how much money the content creator you watch makes. That's up to them to share. And I'm always mindful about these kinds of videos because I don't want to put pressure on anyone else to feel like, oh, so-and-so did it, now everyone has. That's not what this is. I'm in a good place in which there's reasons I feel much more comfortable sharing, and there's also reasons I would feel less comfortable sharing. Frankly, if I made less money or more money, I'd probably feel a little less comfortable sharing. This is complicated. I'm choosing to share. Don't expect this from other people. It's their choice. I don't want to set expectations. But that aside, today I'm going to be talking about how much money I make. I'm going to be telling you how I make money. I'm going to be tying that together with previous videos I've done in the past as far as different ways content creators can make money. And as far as the reason I'm doing so, number one, I'm kind of overdue for it. It's been a long time. Again, overdue implies expectation. It's an expectation I set on myself, and I haven't done so in a long time. And I was like, you know what? Let's do a bit of an update on how things go. Also, I definitely was inspired by, like, if you watched my video earlier today, I talked about how much I appreciate the Dice Tower. And I wanted to keep these things separate because the reason I did that video was, as I said in that video, I was talking about them on a live stream, and I was like, you know what? Let's save this for a full dedicated video. There are crowdfunding campaigns coming up. Let's go ahead and talk about it then. Separately from that, after choosing to do that video, based on some of the comments I've seen in their crowdfunding campaign, and frankly comments that I'll get here and there on my channel as well, it definitely motivated me more to want to talk about the complications of basically having YouTube board game content creation as your job, and then some of the perceptions out there. But I also wanted to keep that very separate from the actual Dice Tower video, because the Dice Tower video was inspired by me feeling grateful and thankful and appreciating what they do. And I didn't want to muddy the waters with I didn't want to muddy the waters. I wanted to keep them separate. So I'm going to be talking about all of this. We'll tie it all together. Timestamps, thumbnails, all of those things throughout the video, as you can expect on this channel. But let's start off, if this is a video about how to make money, let's start off with the first thing. Thank you to Allplay for being a channel sponsor. Allplay is a channel sponsor. That's one way that I can make money on this channel. And Allplay currently has a crowdfunding campaign for Mountain Goat's Legacy, as well as Enchanted Ivy Live. I've covered both of these games. I've given my thoughts and opinions on them, obviously with bias, so like take that as it were. But I really like Enchanted Ivy, and I really like Mountain Goats. Enchanted Ivy was such a surprise hit that it actually dimmed how much I enjoyed Mountain Goats. It didn't make it less, it just made it less the focus for me. But check out that crowdfunding campaign down below. I'll have things linked. And check out allplay.com for a variety of other things you can get from them. With that, let's go into it. A while ago I did a video of 10 ways content creators can make money. And by my count, I think I engage with 4 of them. I guess you could argue 5 of them. 5 of those 10 ways I engage with. Because those 10 ways are ad revenue, memberships, which is going to be things like, Kofi, Patreon, YouTube memberships and all that, sponsored content, sponsorships in general, crowdfunding, running a convention, playtesting, professional services. Those are different things, like those kind of are together, but basically playtesting as an extra way to make some money once you have those connections built up. I've seen people do it, I know people do it. Professional services could be anything, like in my case, because I have enough experience with crowdfunding, it could be, I don't do it, but it could be the idea that, hey, you can pay me to, review your crowdfunding campaign and give you extra advice and opinions and all, things that I've seen work well in the past. That would be a reasonable service to charge for that I definitely believe I have that knowledge and experience from. I don't do it, I'm just saying hypothetically. Merch, and then having a second job. So I have to go through the count here because I forgot about having a second job. I might actually engage with 6 of these. The ways I make money, personally, is ad revenue, which I'm going to go into details on these, but I do ad revenue. I do memberships, again, Patreon, Kofi, and YouTube and all that. I do sponsored content. I do sponsorships. I do run a convention, depends, we'll come back to that. and then having a second job. So 6 of those 10 things I engage with. I don't do playtesting, professional services, merch, or what's the last one over there? Professional services, playtesting, crowdfunding. I don't do crowdfunding either. So I do 6 of those 10 in theory. To go through those 6 out of 10, let's start with the easiest one. I run a convention. I have made precisely $0 from running that convention so far. Now, I don't do it myself. I do it together with a friend, basically Addicts Games, the people behind Addicts Games, a personal friend. He runs Level Up events, and we run Level Up Retreat together. The first 2 years, we lost money. The third year, we kind of broke even, and this year, we actually we capped attendance this year coming up soon. We have our convention going, and we capped attendance because we were a little overcrowded last year, which means it's going to be a little harder to break even. Maybe we will, we'll see, but I assume we'll break even-ish on that. It's not a way that I make money. Now, granted, you certainly can make money from running conventions. I just think you need a much larger scale. Even with our 400 to 500 attendance that we get, we don't really make money on it. We do it for other reasons. Maybe there's the aspirations to try to make money out of it, the hope that it grows, personal investment in the industry. I've made $0 from running Level Up Retreat so far. So 6 out of 10, one of those I don't make money at all. Ad revenue. Ad revenue currently, based on looking at 2025 is over. In 2025, I made $20,000, $20,286 and 81 cents in ad revenue. That means YouTube basically runs ads, and they give the creators some portion of that money. I've made $20,000 in ad revenue this past year. That's down from prior years. It's something that does go down year over year, at least in my experience. I'd be curious to talk to other creators and get their experience, but I experienced a growth in my ad revenue, it plateaued, and then it's been slowly going down. Some of that is that channels get less exciting over time. You watch fewer videos, you're a little less engaged. That new content creator you're excited about does go away a little bit, and you're kind of playing this game of trying to maintain your audience while getting some new people, but like the discovery phase is over. This is a natural evolution. Almost all channels go through this growth, plateau, and then slight dip, maybe getting even. The other is that my views actually haven't changed as much as my ad revenue. So my views and those kinds of things, the engagement has gone down, let's say this much, and the ad revenue's gone down that much. And I don't know how much of that is YouTube changing the way they do things. It's a big black box that I don't really know how to interpret. What I can say is $20,000 is a lot of money. It's also down from what it was in past years. I do memberships. I have Patreon, I have Kofi, I have YouTube memberships. I should say YouTube memberships are my least popular membership aspect, and that money is rolled into the YouTube revenue. So when I look at my YouTube revenue, that counts both the revenue and the memberships. But as far as Patreon and Kofi go, I make $11,000, I make, $986 a month currently from Patreon, which works out to $11,832 a year. I make $709 a month currently from Kofi, which works out to $8,508 per year. Keeping in mind as well, those numbers are actually a little inflated right now because I just ran my end-of-year crowdfunding support drive, which means people sign up, so those monthly numbers go up, but they usually don't stay around the whole year. Usually there's a decline, so that $11,000 and $8,500 from Patreon and Kofi, those are a little inflated. I'll have to wait and see how they pan out, but assume those numbers for right now. Maybe they can grow, but more likely they shrink. Usually the way it works for me is I run my end-of-year I run my end-of-year support drive for the channel. The numbers go up a little bit, and throughout the year they go down a bit. Then it gets to the end of the year, they go up a little bit, and then throughout the year they go down a little bit. That's the arc I generally find myself in. And then sponsored content is going to be another one. Again, the sponsorships and sponsored content. Sponsorships, let's talk about them separately. Sponsored content is going to be things like, previews, gameplays, things like that. Now, there is a decent amount of money that comes in there. That is the main source of money that comes into the channel. The downside of that is that's primarily there to pay Meg. Like, Meg is my employee. She gets paid primarily through those things. So that's also where it gets a little tricky. Again, the tricky part about transparency. I'm fine being transparent about my own numbers. I'm not fine being transparent about other people's numbers. That's their choice. But the sponsored content is definitely the biggest amount of money that comes in. Most of that goes towards Meg. I take a small cut from it. And then sponsorships is going to be things like Allplay, for example. Allplay is a channel sponsor. But then outside of that, it's more things like, occasionally you'll see me doing I've done a sponsorship for Audible once. I've done sponsorships for, various board game companies doing a variety of things. Like if you see me running not a preview or a playthrough, but rather in the beginning of a video, I have like a 30-second ad spot where I'm like, check out this crowdfunding campaign or whatnot. That's going to be sponsorships as well. So it's not really sponsored content in the same way, but sponsorships to some extent. And those, I don't track those as well as I should. Outside of Allplay, ignoring Allplay for a second, I probably made around $5,000 last year. I tried running the numbers. It's I don't run my accounting as well as I should, and a lot of this stuff is mixed together. But between the portion of the cut that I take from sponsored content and between the sponsorships, excluding all play, I make around 5,000. I made around 5,000 last year. Those are the total so far. Before all play, we'll get to all play separately. So that all together, and those are all the things I do. The last thing is having a second job, which we'll come to as well. But that means ad revenue, I've covered my memberships, I've covered my sponsored content, my sponsorships outside of all play, we'll get back to soon. I don't do crowdfunding, I run a convention, I don't make money off of it, I don't do playtesting, I don't do professional services. I want to do merch eventually, but honestly, even then, I kind of just want to do it for having it out there, not necessarily as a way to make money. I just think it'd be nice to actually do it, because I just need to find the time to do it. But either way, those are the things I do. Altogether, all of this adds up to around $45,000, just a little over $45,000. You can run all the numbers. I think it was like 45,500. Again, it's vague anyway because the sponsored content is not an exact number, but around $45,000 a year plus the all play sponsorship, which I just added. That we're going to take that one just depends on how things pan out. It might be for a few months. It might be for the next 3 years. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I will say, given that I make $45,000 a year ish from YouTube, the all play is definitely a nice extra thing to have on top of it. We'll see how long that goes. That's what I make. That's what I bring in from YouTube, which is simultaneously a lot of money and very little money at the same time. It is a lot of money because there are people who have full-time jobs that pay less than that, and I bet you they'd love to play board games for a living. It's very little money because in previous jobs and current jobs, I make much more than that. It is much less than I need a year to actually, pay for everything that I have a family. I have 4 kids. That means that my expenses, and I talked about this again, I haven't run them recently, but they're generally around in the range of $90,000 to $100,000 a year. That's my expenses. Your expenses might be less. Where you live might be less. The kids, whether you have kids, how many kids, those might be less. For me, for funsies, I ran through ChatGPT. I was like, for 6 people in Cleveland, Ohio, like what's the average expenses and all that? And ChatGPT said that the low range should be $70K and the high range should be around $110K. Obviously, everyone's needs differ. So at 90 to 100, I'm not bad, especially considering that my kids are Orthodox. They're Jewish Orthodox. They go to private day school, which is not cheap either. So honestly, I think I'm doing pretty decently as far as expenses, especially when you factor in those additional needs. That's my expenses. So $45,000 is a lot of money, and it's a little money at the same time. I'm able to do what I do here because I have that 10th thing. How do board game content creators make money? Having a second job was number 10. It is a common thing for a lot of people in this industry. For me, it is the thing that allows me. I have a job at GameFound. I'm CMO of GameFound. It is something that I both love and pays much better than YouTube does. But I give YouTube just as much time because I'm very passionate about YouTube, and this is something that I do because I love it, and I put more time and effort than I should into it relative to where my time is most valued from a dollar perspective. Because I like it, because I enjoy it. It's how people get into it, and it's often why people keep doing it as long as they do. That's me. Content creation is not a good way to get rich. For many people, it's barely a good way to make money or even pay for your time. I can't imagine what Dice Tower does. I mean, I know some of the things they do, but to start with, they employ 10 people. I employ 1. I don't know how I could bring a second person on without. I don't know how I could bring a second person on. Something I've talked about. There are people who I've talked to who I might want to bring on even a back-end support kind of role, but I can't. Anything I paid an extra person would be coming from that $45,000 unless I could find another way to make money. And I don't know those other ways of making money. So for me, Board Game Co., as far as I can see it, is going to be a 2-person job for a long, not job, 2-person company for a very long time. It might change one day. I don't necessarily have the ambition that it does. The thing I'm passionate about is talking about board games and playing board games. I'm not passionate about running a board game company. And effectively, a larger company, a larger staff would be a board game company to an extent. So for me, this is going to be a 2-person operation. YouTube and all the stuff pays for me. Sponsored content pays for Meg. It works out. It works out overall. Yeah, it works out for me. Dice Tower employs 10 people. I don't understand how that works. I mean, I understand the math. Their conventions are obviously bigger. They have more, they have 5 times the views I have, something like that. So they obviously have more YouTube revenue. They have more support from their audience. They run a crowdfunding campaign. They have conventions. They have other things. But they have 10 people. The math of what any individual there gets paid, I have no idea. Not my business. But when you math it all out, it's just a lot. And no one has any obligation to support me or any content creator or the Dice Tower. This is not like a pity, what's the word for it? A pity party. This is not a pity party. This is not a woe is me, look at how little I make. And again, I don't think $45,000 is a little. It's just, it's less than I need, and this is a job I do because I'm passionate about. If I was viewing, if I only had one job, it couldn't afford to be YouTube. I just couldn't. And so this is not a woe is me kind of conversation. Nor is it a woe is the Dice Tower, nor is it woe is any content creator. It is hard for content creators to make this their full-time thing without engaging in forms of monetization that make them slightly less palatable to the audience. The audience generally wants content creators to be completely free from any monetary tie to companies. And I understand that want. I think it's a reasonable want. I think it's an unreasonable practical reality, which is where things get a little messy. It's why there's often this arc of you find some new content creator who you're passionate about, you're excited about. Once upon a time, I was that new content creator. There are always new content creators. I can give you several that I think are absolutely fantastic. And there's a lot of excitement about that. This person that really is so much fun to watch, and they represent these great views, and whatever it is they're doing works for you. But then they have to start, then they choose. Either they do this less because it's just a drain on their time and life has other pressures, or they try to make it more full-time, and some of the magic gets lost. It's an arc that has happened time and time again with many content creators. There are people who used to love me, who still love me. There are people who used to love me who don't want to watch me anymore because I now engage with companies and those things. And that's, again, it's true for everything. This is not a pity party. This is just the arc. I've seen other channels talk about that fact, recognizing this arc. Some have chosen not to engage with it and just do less content. Some are trying to power through it in different ways, and others recognize that right now, given the space we're in, it is not impossible, but it's very, very, very hard to be free from some monetary obligation. I say it's not impossible because there are some channels that have done it. To the best of my knowledge, I can't think of any channel that has made this their job effectively without having some degree of industry money coming their way in a long time. Like, there's some, like I think no pun included takes no money from the industry, but like they've been in the space for 10 plus years, if not longer. Like, they've been in space for a long time. It is very, very hard, not impossible, for people to do that, and those that have done it were able to do so a long, long time ago. They are not new people to this space. Going back to what I was saying, no one has any obligation to support any content creator just because of the math. You don't have to watch their content if you don't get value from it. You don't have to like them. You don't have to think that they're fair or unbiased or anything. You don't have to do anything. And you certainly don't have to support anyone. And this, by the way, is not meant to be a channel support drive for myself right now. That's not what this video is. If you're inspired to give money to a content creator from right now, do find some other content creator, whether it's the Dice Towers, crowdfunding campaign, whether it's going to Big Pasty, a new channel that I'm currently obsessed with, that, he just started accepting money from people or whatnot, or like things, Patreon, I don't know. He has something. Check out Big Pasty. There's lots of other content creators. I'm saying this is not about that right now. What I do find interesting is sometimes the vitriol that can come along from people. And this is obviously a minority. It obviously is always going to be a minority. But it's one thing to say, I'm not going to watch your channel. It's another thing to say, I watch your videos for free and I don't want to give you money. All these things, well, either I don't want to give you money, I can't afford to give you money, I choose not to, or I enjoy your content enough that I would watch it for free, but I don't enjoy it enough that I'd pay for it. These are all valid opinions to have. The one that gets me is there's some small minority of people that are almost offended when a content creator needs to make money. Like, it's one thing not to engage, it's another thing to go after them. Like, what, free games aren't enough? Oh wow, you need $100,000 to live? Like, what, go pack groceries or something like this. There's a degree of offense that people take sometimes to people who are just trying to do their best to make it work around something that they are passionate about. None of us would be here if it wasn't for being passionate. In any other industry at all, if you are at the top of your game, if you are the best of the best, you are making 7 figures minimum. If you are a video game content creator, you are making 7 figures minimum if you are amongst the best of the best. If you're in sports, you're making significantly more than 7 figures. Pick any field, whoever you are, whether it's a form of content creation, whether it's a job, if you are the best of the best in your field, you are making 7, 8, or 9 figures. The best of the best in board games are almost certainly making 6 figures at most. That means the top tier, again, like things like Dice Tower, Shut Up and Sit Down, pick the highest content creators in this space. You can be the #1 board game content creator and you are not making 7 figures from it. That means the top of the top of the top. I'm making $45,000 a year from YouTube. That's what I make from YouTube right now. And I think I'm one of the bigger channels as far as views, engagement, content. I'm one of the bigger channels, and I'm making $45,000. That is a bizarre concept. And it means that no one would be here, no content creator would be here if not for the love of what they do. Having to pay the bills is a necessary evil. It's not something anyone here wants to do. It's something that we all have to do. And it doesn't matter what size content creator you are. It doesn't matter what approach you've taken, whether you do this on the side, whether you try to make this your job. We all have to put food on our table. We all have to pay the mortgage. We also, some of us, many of us, want to do this thing. We want to talk about board games. We want to tell you the games we love. We want to have conversations around the industry. We want to tell you the top 10 games that are great for cooperative players. Pick your category. We want to do this. There's passion. It has to be. You'd be stupid not to be. If you're in this with the goal of making money and you're not being driven by passion, you are making a big mistake, because there's not enough money to be in this for the money. So this was both things. This video was two things. It's a general state of transparency numbers breakdown because I think it's a fun video. I like this I like this stuff. I enjoy these things. So I'll do this. Like, yeah, I'll probably do another one 4 or 5 years from now as well. Who knows? We'll see. I just think I think these things are interesting. And then separately from that, to some small portion of the audience who sadly probably will never have made it this far in the video or be watching my channel at all, it's almost a reminder that, like, it's one thing not to engage, it's one thing not to support, it's another thing to have a degree of hostility towards a content creator who's just trying to make this work in an industry that is still very much passion driven, but you still have to pay for food on your table. In any case, then, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.